सत्यात्मने नमः। ज्ञाता ज्ञानं तथा ज्ञेयं द्रष्टा दर्शनदेशभो कर्ता हेतुः क्रिया यस्मात् तस्मै ज्ञात्यात्मने नमः। स्फुरन्ति श्रीकरा यस्मात् आनंद संबरे वनो सर्वेषां जीवनं तस्मै ब्रह्मानन्दात्मने नमः। ब्रह्मानन्दात्मने नमः। वेदोदधिं समन्मथ्य ज्ञानरत्नं समुद्रितम् येन तस्मै वसिष्ठाय गुरुणां गुरवे नमः। वशिष्ठ जी भगवान की जय। सच्चिदानंद भगवान की जय। सद्गुरु भगवान की जय। शब्द ब्रह्म की जय। सरस्वती महारानी की जय। योग वशिष्ठ जी भगवान की जय। हरि ओम। I welcome the new friends who don't understand Hindi. So we have decided to have the class through English medium, and I have to explain from the beginning again because you people have not attended it. So I shall give you some background. First of all, we salute the absolute truth, which has three aspects. One is truth, existence absolute. The other is knowledge absolute. The third is bliss absolute. We salute that existence absolute where from all the beings take their origin and live in it, abide in it, and in the end get their end in it. We salute that absolute knowledge which is seen by triads in this world. All these triads take their origin from that absolute knowledge and they get dissolved in it. Triads means the knower, knowing process, and the knowledge. Doer, doing process, and the done object. In this way, these triads constitute this visible world where we are existing. These triads are nothing but three different aspects of one truth, that is knowledge. We salute that absolute knowledge, awareness. We salute that absolute bliss. Where from all the happiness and continuous unbroken happiness, which is known as bliss, which is beyond happiness and sorrow. That is known as bliss. That absolute bliss, which is present everywhere in this world, in the sky, in the earth, in water, everywhere. We salute that absolute bliss. And then we salute that greatest teacher who teaches us about the absolute knowledge, who explains on the absolute truth which is beyond speech and mind, who gives us the essence of all the Vedas, means the source of all the knowledge. He gives us the essence. We salute that greatest teacher, namely Vashistha. The name itself means the greatest one. And from then onwards, from Vashistha onwards, we are getting this knowledge from time to time, from preceptor to preceptor. It descends down, and then now we go through it as Yoga Vashistha. Yoga Vashistha is the gift presented by the greatest teacher Vashistha to us. We salute that absolute primordial sound, which is known as Sabda Brahma, the sound truth. When the truth expresses itself or manifests itself in name and form, in limited names and forms, it manifested as a sound in the very beginning of the creation. So that sound God we salute. And the goddess of knowledge, goddess of speech and intellect, who is the cause for the creation, the creative force. We name her as Saraswati. We salute that absolute supreme power in the form of speech and intellect and knowledge. And we salute this text personified as knowledge, personified knowledge, called Yoga Vashistha. Yoga Vashistha is the dialogue between Lord Rama, the incarnation of the Supreme Being, and the great preceptor Vashistha. This dialogue was going on in the meeting hall of the king Dasarath, the father of Lord Rama. And this dialogue is presented to us in the form of different beautiful, meaningful stories, series of stories. And in every story, the explanation is given on the secret of creation, how the creation is imaginary, and how the truth is the basic cause for this creation. And then also it explains us how to live a successful, happy life in this relative world and reach the highest truth in the end, and how to get out of the birth and death cycle, which is the cause for all our miseries. So it is divided into two parts, and the Nirvana Prakaran, the last part, second part, and the first half of second part, we are going through. And in this, we are discussing now on the dialogue between Vashistha and the eternal being named Kakavibhushan, a crow in the form of crow. The crow is eternal being. It never dies. His name is Bhushan. Sometime in some meeting, when the discussion was going the on the long living beings, eternal beings, they are the name Kakavusandi came, and our Vasistha was present there. He was very interested to see Bhushanji face to face. He was curious, and after the meeting was over, he could not keep quiet. He went to meet the eternal being, the crow Bhushan, Kak Bhushan. Kak means crow. And the crow was living on the highest mountain called Meru, on a tree top that is called will fulfilling tree. Will fulfilling tree. Kalpataru. And he was ever engaged in discussing serious matters on the creation and the truth and everything. All kinds of birds used to gather together. Always they are on the mountain top on that tree, and the crow Bhushan, eternal being, he used to explain, and it goes on always. Satsang. These eternal beings have nothing to do. So the only job is to remember the highest truth, contemplate over it, or meditate on it. So, in the way of discussions, all these beings, they pass their time. They have nothing to achieve. So only thing they have to do is remembrance of the highest truth. So all of a sudden one day our great preceptor Vashistha, the guru of Lord Rama, went there and arrived in the meeting of Kakabhusan. And Kakabhusan respected him in the way in the way of efficacy, code of conduct, how the great people should be respected and they worship Vashistha because Vashistha was a great sage. He was the preceptor of the whole solar dynasty. So he was the guru of Rama also, his father Dasharatha also. In this way, he was the family teacher of the whole solar system. He was also an eternal being, Vashistha. He is yet alive in subtle form. When we talk of these great beings, eternal beings, we have always the question, how do they exist? How do they keep up their physical form when the whole creation dissolves? How they are able to maintain their physical form? So similarly, as we have the common query, how will be they maintaining their physical form? Vasishtha also asked the same question to Bhushanji. O great one, I am curious to know, you are such a long living, eternal being. Can you give us some details of your childhood and your your history, your identity, how you became a crow, etc. But Bhusand was very pleased to explain everything. And then Vasishtha asked, how do you keep up this body, physical body, when the world dissolves into the supreme existence, supreme existence? What remains after the dissolution of these five gross elements, the sky, ether, the air, the fire, the water, and the earth? When all these gross elements which constitute all these names and forms, gross forms of the visible world, when all those elements dissolve, what remains in the end? And how do you keep up your own existence? So, in the reply, Kakabhushan explained the method of pranayam, and we are discussing the subject pranayam. Now, this is the first half of Nirvana Prakaran and 25th chapter. Here we are discussing on the pranayam process. But Bhushan is explaining on pranayam, prana, apan, how do they start from the heart, the absolute equilibrium, state of absolute equilibrium, that is called heart, the greatest whole, the absolute state of equilibrium, that is called our heart. Every being has his heart in the innermost chamber of the body. And from there, when the equilibrium gets disturbed, the vibration starts, and those vibrations, those waves are called prana and apana. Prana, the life breathing system, vital energy. It starts from there. And he classifies this air, this breathing system. We name it as a prana, means life. Prana means the vital energy, the breathing system or air which goes inside and comes out. We know much about it in medical science and in yoga science. The yogis control this process, breathing system, and rest in the junction of outgoing and incoming air, prana and apana. He says the outside air is named as apana and inside air is named as prana. And prana is hot, it is quite warm, and apana, which is outside the body, that is cold. So he named it as prana and apana. Outside air is apana, and inside air is called prana. And because it is warm, so it has to have a tendency to go out through the nose. And 12 measures, finger measures, outside the nose tip. It goes and it gets pulled down and gets the form of apana and stops in a particular length. And from there, it turns back and comes in to the source where from it started. So while coming back, slowly it gets it gets warm up, and when it reaches the source, that is heart, it becomes again warm. So prana means our outgoing breath. When it goes out, slowly it gets cooled down, and when it comes back into the source to the heart, it gets warm up. In this way, it goes in and out. This is our breathing system. So when it goes out, it stops somewhere and returns back. So that stoppage, that juncture between going and coming, juncture, there will be a gap, there will be a stoppage, common point, neutral point. That neutral point we named as kumbhak. Kumbhak means stoppage, neutral point. And this gap between the two areas, outgoing and incoming, there will be always a gap between two. That we call as sandhi, the juncture, the gap between two. Every two will have a dividing line. That is called the demarcating line. So that demarcating state is found everywhere in this world. The world is composed by pairs of opposites. Where there will be light, there will be darkness. Where there will be height, there will be lowness. Where there will be good, there will be bad also. Everything has its opposite aspect. So when we analyze, we see this world is composed by pairs of opposites, and in every pair there will be a demarcating neutral point. That we call it juncture or gap, that we named as kumbhak in yogic language. Yogic language we say it kumbhak. So the yogis, they meditate on this outgoing and incoming breathing system, and they meditate on that gap also. Kumbhak. They remain in kumbhak for long time. They try to prolong that momentary neutral point. They try to prolong it. In the beginning, it will be a fraction of second. Then when it is prolonged, one can remain on that state, that neutral state, even for minutes, for hours, for days. And when one remains in it for longer time, in that kumbhak equilibrium state, who is named by yogic language concentration of mind or prana, and then meditation, and then comes samadhi, etc. And when it is established, it never starts movement again. It remains in that equilibrium state for a long time. Then one dissolves in the absolute equilibrium state, that is absolute truth. So this is how our eternal being, our pro-saint, Bhushan, explains to Vashistha. I gave it in short form, in
brief manner.
brief. We have discussed it in very elaborate form. Now we are discussing on the source of this prana. The yogis should meditate on the source of prana. Source is absolute equilibrium state that I told you is named as heart. It is within every being, and it starts vibrating there, and then it goes out, and again it returns back, and the scientific physics law activates it. Our philosophic laws also, the laws of nature, reacts on this method in this process, and this is how breathing system goes on. So the source should be found out, and the yogi should meditate on this source. That source we name as the supreme truth. Truth never changes, but the world is subject to change. Whatever changes, we cannot rely upon it. It is a changing phenomenon. The basic principle of nature is changing. It is based on changing process. Everything changes, and that change occurs when there will be motion or action. Action means change, and the energy or the power, that is vibratory system. It starts vibrating the non-vibrated, unvibrated equilibrium state, and therefrom the nature starts working. So the basic principle of nature is changing or creating vibration, that is called energy, and the whole world is nothing but the play of energy. So it is a changing process, we cannot rely upon it, and truth never changes. So that equilibrium state we know as the supreme truth which never changes. The yogis meditate on this state by meditating on the breathing system. When you meditate on breathing system, prana, the outgoing breath and upon the incoming breath, they get they get changed every moment one into the other. And when you follow this system mentally, keep your mind, watch it, and meditate on it, follow the system, then slowly, in course of time, in course of your practice, this breathing system stops and it merges in the absolute equilibrium state. And that is the source. So Bhushanji is explaining to Vashistha how he meditates on that equilibrium state all the time. That becomes normal for him, sahaj, normal state. He always is established on that state of equilibrium. So he never gets disturbed by the dissolution of the whole universe, the visible world. हे ब्रह्मन, जिस प्रकार पुष्प के अंदर सौगंध रहता है, उसी प्रकार प्राण के अंदर रहने वाले चिदात्मा की जो न सजीव रूप है और न निर्जीव स्वरूप है, हम लोग उपासना करते हैं. We worship. Bhushan ji is explaining to Vashistha, O great one, we, the eternal beings, we always meditate on, we worship, we pray, we remember, we meditate on continuously on the absolute state of existence, Chidatma, the Supreme Self, the self of all the selves, which is neither living nor non-living. That is the whole point. How is the state of that supreme existence? It is neither living nor non-living. We people worship that state. How do you understand living and non-living? We have discussed before it about the classification of all these beings. Being means we have to understand what is being, which has become, that is called being. What do you mean by becoming? Becoming means
changing. No,
no, no. Something has become. That also understood as something has manifested, manifested, personified, or has become something. That we understand when we analyze. The invisible becomes visible. Manifested means it has become visible. And personified means which was impersonal has become personified. It has taken a shape. So it will have a name. So the whole world is composed by names and forms. How do you understand form? Which has formed, which has been formed. Formation means to take a shape. How do you understand it? Can you understand the shape without any demarcating lines? Can you understand any shape, means any form, without its periphery line? So we have to have a demarcating outward line. Within that, the, the inside size or the shape has been formed. That we have to understand as unlimited has been limited by demarcating, demarcating or by limiting. The unlimited when becomes limited by some lining, demarcating lines, that is called has been formed or taken a shape or it has been manifested. That is called formation or manifestation or personification. In this way, we have to understand analytically the unlimited, which is beyond our mind and understanding and speech, which we name as the absolute truth, which is beyond speech and mind, unlimited, infinite. When that is limited, then we have some ideas, some imaginary ideas by our mind and our intellect, and that we perceive through our senses, either mind or gross senses, say eyes, ears, or nose, or skin. So, five senses of knowledge. They perceive all these names and forms by seeing the form or hearing the sound. Sound also has shape and size, frequencies of the sound waves. So we perceive it by our ears. We taste the taste of the object. We perceive it by taste or by smell or by touch. So in this way, when we get some ideas, some informations about some particular limited form, that is called manifestation. That is called personification or formation, materialization. It becomes a form of matter. Matter which is perceived by mind or senses. So we have to understand in this way what is called manifestation. When the unlimited becomes limited, then only it is called manifestation. And that limitation will be by demarcating lines. And those demarcating lines are imaginary. It changes. So the time and space, when the unlimited space we can say, when it is limited somehow or other by imaginary method, by demarcating lines, we call it formation or manifestation. So in this way, the beings are imagined. One who has become, become means it has manifested. So whatever is in a limited form, which has got a name, is called a being. And this being will be bound to change all the time. It is subject to change. Why? Because this is called the creation also. Formation, manifestation means creation also. You have created something by your imaginary lines, demarcating lines. So it has to change. So this changing process is called life. Life in a very, very crucial meaning, very subtle meaning. This is we have to understand from very basic understanding. We can have the ideas how the creation starts. So we can explain it in different language also, other language also. When the subtlemost, which is beyond the
sensory perception,
beyond the mind and speech, which cannot be spoken about, which cannot be thought about, the absolute subtleness, when it starts becoming gross, this subtle becoming gross is the process of creation. And when it grossifies, then we can imagine some limited forms of it. It becomes perceivable by mind or senses. This is how we understand the visible world. So all these individualities are called beings. We classify it mainly into classes, two types. One is living being, other is non-living being. We are coming to the point. how the absolute is beyond living or non-living. Living being means where we see the change. Some actions are visible to our senses or our mind. Mind can grasp, can understand the changing phenomena going within it. So these are called the living beings, and non-living beings where we don't see the changes. We named it as non-living beings. But yet you have to understand, if you cannot see the change, can you accept that no change is going on there? When it has been formed, it is under the process of changing. Now itself we have seen when the unlimited or the unseen or the infinite or the subtlemost becomes slowly gross, it gets personified or manifested, then it is formed. So it is under the process of changing. So it is living being. Living means where there is change, but
not visible to us.
not visible to our mind and senses. So we have classified as a non-living being. That is all. But everything non-living and living, they are under the process of living. This is called, in scientific terms, the process of evolution, process of progress, evolution. It starts from very subtle movements, and then it is seen in gross form. We call it a progress or evolution process. It is eternal process. It goes on. So in this way, we have classified living and non-living things. Now, the truth is beyond this. Why? Because it is absolute equilibrium state. It doesn't come under changing process. The changing process is creation, process of manifestation, process of creation, process of formation. Unlimited goes on limiting itself in different forms. And every form divides, then only it can change. One becomes two, then only it multiplies, changes. So all these subtle theories we have to understand. And all these process comes under relativity, process of relativity. When two are there, one is related with the other, dependent on the other, subject to the other. There is relationship. So in this way, everything is complicated. Complicated. But totally we can keep in mind, we can take it for granted. The whole creation is nothing but names and forms, and under a changing process. That is the basic principle of nature, which in scientific language we say play of energy, changing phenomenon, play of energy. And this comes under evolution process also. Everything multiplies, everything progresses, everything changes. This process, world process, creative process, it goes on everywhere in all forms. And everywhere there will be some gaps between every two. All this process is not subject to that absolute truth, which is absolute equilibrium, balanced state. We call it samattam yoga uchyate, samattam, balanced state, peace, highest constancy, the absolute constancy which never changes, that cannot be living or non-living. This is how Kakavusand says we meditate on that absolute truth which is not subject to living being or non-living being, which is beyond all these, beyond all.
Swamiji, our only two pathways. One pathway is the enlightenment, otherwise death. How to live in this world will be changing and so many problems.
I don't understand what you say.
Already in this world is changing phenomena. It's a living, it's a not a perfect living, it's not a do anybody.
What? Perfectly do.
What is asking, the world is a changing phenomena. So nobody can that is the perfect way of living. Nobody can do like that because the world is changing. So that the perfect example of living, that's what I guess he's asking.
Then one,
I don't follow. I shall discuss it afterwards. I cannot understand the question itself. So how can I answer? The question should be understood first. So now he says again, जिस प्रकार जल के अंदर, he gave the example of flower and the fragrance of the flower. The fragrance is the nature of the flower. It is neither different from the flower nor one with the flower. That is called nature of the flower. It is neither different nor same. So this world is neither different from the truth nor same as the truth. That is how it is called nature. Nature. The nature of the seed, though it is not germinated yet, the tendency to germinate is dormant in the seed. That is called nature of the seed. When it gets
germinated,
when it gets favorable conditions, light, water, and other things, then it starts germinating. It sprouts. But before that, the energy is there in dormant state. We call it DNA, we may say DNA, the nature, basic nature, which is dormant. So just as I showed this paper, this blank paper, white paper, it has got everything within it. Whatever you write, A, B, C, whatever you write on it, it is there in the paper beforehand, or else it cannot manifest. When you give a form to it, particular demarcation lines, then it is called some alphabet, or else it is blank paper. In this way, creation starts. But creation remains in the womb of the Absolute, in a dormant state, unmanifested state. So, just like the seed,
It has all the qualities of a tree, but it remains dormant.
it has the quality. It, when favorable conditions are available to the seed, then only it can sprout.
But it has all the features and all the qualities.
It has all the nature of the future trees also. Innumerable trees are held in a particular single seed. In this way, innumerable universes are there in the womb of the absolute unchanging truth. It manifests when the truth wants to see itself, just as you want to see yourself. What do you do?
Look in the mirror.
You look at the mirror. What do you see? You see your reflection only. And it is held by you, seen outside. It is you, the object, and it is seen in the mirror outside you. But it is within you. In this way, this visible world is visible outside us, though it is within everyone. Whatever you see outside, it is inside only. It is reflected outside. The visible world is nothing but reflection. This is called also manifestation and creation. The absolute truth, if at all there is some idea is beyond time and space and conditions. It has no time, it has got no space, no conditions. It is beyond everything. So if at all that idea appears, then if the truth wants to be aware of itself or see itself, then slowly that absolute subtleness, which is beyond everything, starts grossifying and creation starts. And in this way, innumerable creations are hidden in the womb of the absolute truth. So when you meditate on the absolute truth, you forget the nature of it. When you meditate on flower, you forget the flower. fragrance. Though fragrance is neither different from the flower nor one with the flower. It is a imaginary quality of the flower. Imaginary quality, which appears as if different from flower, and sometimes it is one with the flower. This is called the illusory process of energy. Energy, because it changes every now and then, every moment. That's why it becomes illusory or confusing. One means it has to become two. The moment you say one, without expecting the second, you cannot count one. There is expectation of the second. So one means it has to have relationship with the two. And two means there is again this side one, that side three. It goes on increasing in geometrical ratio.
Relationship is there, but it may be dormant.
Maybe.
When you say one, the relationship with two is dormant. But
yes,
the relationship is there.
It is there without comparing, without having relationship with the two second.
You cannot say one.
You cannot say one.
You cannot pronounce one.
Yes. So we call it the absolute one is, it is not one, it is called one without a second. It is conformed, signified, conformed. So in scientific language, the absolute singularity, that is called absolute singularity.
Beyond comparison, there is no relativity.
No relativity, no events, no action, no reaction, no dualistic means pairs of opposites. Nothing is there. No relativity. Then only that is known as truth. So when one analyzes in this way, the mind and our vital energy, that is breathing system, they automatically, slowly in the course of time, they stop themselves. They merge in the absolute equilibrium. This is how the eternal being, the Saint Kakabu Sunday, explains to Vashistha the highest philosophy. And by this you can hold in your mind. When he is established in that state, he can manifest himself anytime, anywhere, in any condition. That is the power of yogic power. A yogi manifests in different places at one time, in different forms. 100 forms he can have at a time. We call them satavadhani. 100 works he can do at a time. He has got all-round capacity and all-round vision, everything within itself. I will give you other example also. How it is possible. When you go higher up, when you go higher up in the mountains or in the sky, sky means when you go travel somewhere in a plane,
High altitude.
height or high altitude, your angle of vision changes or magnifies. Magnifies. Angle of vision. Or otherwise also. Take an example of camera. Camera, when we take some snaps, we see little things, minimum things in the photo, in the lens of camera nearby. When we look away, long away, far away, the sky also comes in the photo, in the camera. That length of the sky, sometimes it is measured by light years. Measured by light years, not by kilometers or something like that. So when it is widened, many things are captured by the lens. In the same way, it is called wide angle of vision. Wide angle of vision. So in this way, when you go into higher altitude also, whatever you see below in the lower level, you can see much more than this in the height, in the heights, in the higher altitude. If you see 2 kilometers here on the lower level, you can see 100 kilometers at a time, here and now.
So higher the elevation, higher are the visibility.
Visibility
And span of visibility.
and time also. Time also is now only. It becomes your present, which is past and future of the person below down.
And he can reason the past, present, future, whatsoever,
Yes.
everything.
Yes. So in this way, when one goes to the absolute truth, he gets the all-round vision. And there is no time, everything at a time. There's no time. Time has got no meaning there. And space has got no meaning there. All-round vision. At a time. Now and here. So in this way, the yogis have the all-round power and vision and the capacity. So they can become 100 at a time in 100 places. This is how the yogi enhance their power. And Kakabhushan says
That is also called Siddhi.
that is, you can say Siddhi, but Siddhi means
Something else. Nashkar Siddhi.
Siddhi. True meaning of Siddhi means success. Success. And success, in what sense you understand?
Nashkar means there's a lot of things you can.
Your goal, when you attain, it is called success. When you attain your goal, reach your goal, you have been successful. And that is called Siddhi. Your effort is fulfilled. In this way, Lord Akavusadi, Lord means the Great One, he explains the state of his own being, how he gets able to maintain his existence even though the creations dissolve into space or call it whatever you like. It dissolves. There will not be any earth, neither water, nor fire, nor air, no space also. Space also dissolves. The ideas also dissolve. And then only awareness remains. In that way, whenever he wants, and whenever there will be next manifestation or creation, he creates himself as he likes. He takes some name or some form. If there will be a form, it will have a name also.
So from limitless, it becomes limited.
Limitless becomes limited at his will. At his will. Will means idea. To see himself or to be. To be. This is how he explains. Again he said, जिस प्रकार जल के अंदर माधुर्य रहता है उसी प्रकार अपान के अंदर रहने वाले चिदात्मा की जो सजीव और निर्जीव रूप नहीं है हम लोग उपासना करते हैं. He gives a different aspect how to meditate, the highest type of meditation. He says, just as the water has got taste, of course, we say by scientific investigation, water has got no color, no odor, no taste. No taste also. Pure water will not have any taste. But philosophically we say it has got taste. That taste is not our scientific taste, sweet or sour. It is not so. Raso vaisa, ras, the taste. Taste of the water, the tongue knows, but it cannot be expressed. There is taste which is unexpressible. It is neither sweet nor soury nor pungent nor bitter. It is something that taste only is known to the tongue which cannot be expressed. So in this way, philosophically, we say water has taste. Madhurya, sweetness. It is not real sweetness. It is the taste. Water has got taste. And earth has got smell. We know the earth by smell, and water by taste, fire by form, because light of the fire prevails, means
Increases expands.
it upholds or it reveals the form which was under the darkness. It was not revealed. The form was not revealed because of darkness. Light reveals the form.
Yes.
So Form means light. And air means touch. We know the air by touch. And sky by sound. There is sound, vibration in the ether sky. So in this way, five senses, five measures of senses or elements, the sound, the touch, and the form, and taste, and the smell. So coming to our point, जिस प्रकार जल के अंदर माधुर्य रहता है, just as the taste is the nature of the water, उसी प्रकार अपना अपान के अंदर रहने वाले चिदात्मा की हम उपासना करते हैं, जो सजीव और निर्जीव रूप नहीं है. We meditate on that absolute truth, which is neither living nor non-living, and which is beyond all these. And just as the taste is the nature of the water, so also all these non-living and living, they are the nature of the absolute. It is neither living nor not living. So both, and so beyond both. When you say it is not living, that means it is non-living. When you say it is not non-living, that means living. So it is beyond both and also both. Just as the taste of the water, it is neither different nor same. So living and non-living are neither different from the absolute, nor same with the absolute. This is the understanding. That means the world is neither different, this creation, this visible world is neither different from the truth, nor one with the truth. When you analyze it, then everything vanishes, everything changes. So it is not the truth, but yet it appears. So it is the truth. So when one is there, the other is not there. When the other is there, the one is not there. So it is both together. It is not both. It is beyond both. It is the both. So it is beyond expression. That's why it is called beyond speech and thoughts. Achintya Roop Charite. This energy is so illusory. Nobody knows how it is, what it is. We gave some aspect of it in a little form, just as sound or your light or a magnet or electricity, etc. These are just very gross form of the absolute energy, the universal energy. These are all gross forms. Universal energy is all round, present everywhere in every condition. That's why we say the whole creation is nothing but play of energy. That is called changing phenomena. He says we meditate on that absolute truth which is in upon breathe. Upon means outside the cold breeze which always gets changed into prana.
And as you told, the absolute truth in that apan is chetana, as we spoke.
Yes,
Consciousness
yes, consciousness.
mixed with it.
Yes,
Still there, but still.
how do you say consciousness is there? See, the moment I say the book, how do you understand? You get the form of it by your senses, and you touch it also, and you hear the name book, and that sound name that book, particular word, you relate the sound with the object. This is an object only, and you relate that sound with the object, the relationship between the sound and the object. Then you perceive the form of the book, and you got the name of the book. And then you will have some ideas of book, informations on the book, how it is, where it is, when it is, all these qualities, informations on the book. You keep it in your mind that those ideas, those informations are not visible to this eye. They are ideas only. Informations are ideas only. They are preserved in your subtle mind, inner mind, subconscious mind, in the form of impressions or memories. And that you are aware of those informations. You know it. You are aware that you know it. That awareness is called the real knowledge. But those informations are informative knowledge. When you are aware of the information,
There is a knowledge.
that is real knowledge. So this is how he says, when you know apana,
It's informative.
it is informative. And when you are aware of apana, then that is real knowledge. You meditate on that awareness. So we say that truth is in apana. The awareness of the informations, which is called apana. Awareness is not apana. Information is apana. A sound, a name, some ideas, some sound. So these are informative collections. And when you are aware that this is this within your heart of hearts, yes, I know. Who says yes, I know? That awareness is called real knowledge. That is called truth. So in that way, he meditates on the truth. And that is in apana also. So he gives some you see, forms of or some types of meditation, because it is on pranayam, process of prana. So he meditates when he thinks that this is called apana. He never meditates on apana, but awareness of apana. That way, he meditates on that juncture always. There is some gap between your awareness and the information. Did you follow? There is some gap between your awareness and the information. You are aware of the information.
So very deep meaning, Swamiji. There is a gap between two informations.
Yes.
There is a gap between two awarenesses also. So when
Yes.
there is a gap between two awareness, that is kumbhak.
Yes.
And when there is the gap between two information, that means you are reaching awareness.
Yes.
वो बाधाएं जो आप
It is a very, very subtle, slow process.
So when you reach the state of two awarenesses,
Yes.
that is kumbhak.
Yes. Very, very mysterious. Mysterious.
I think information and awareness are something really we understood very well.
Yes.
Swamiji, 11.
Yes. So, in this way, tomorrow we shall see how he meditates on prana also. What is the process of meditation? How he meditates on prana, apana, the process he explains. Tomorrow we shall see. Hari Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate Om Shanti 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 Sadguru Bhagavan ki jai Satchidananda Bhagavan ki jai Sabda Brahma ki jai Saraswati Maharani ki jai Yogavasiji Bhagavan ki jai. So please remind me next time when we talk in English, we shall start from this point, so that English knowing people, they will have
a continuity.
Continue.
I will write it in the book.
Yes.
Or there is a book behind it.
Yes.
Book in the
Please note it, so that they will learn. Sadhguru Bhagavan ki jai.